What's going on YouTube? Ben here, Player.net, and today we're taking a look at the Fractal Deisgn Node 804 Micro ATX computer case. Now this is kind of Fractal Deisgn's answer to the Air 240 and those type of smaller Micro ATX cube cases. On the front, as you can see, is pretty generic. It's just a plain brown box. We have their website URL down here at the bottom, and then there's just an outline of the case itself. It doesn't really reveal a whole lot to us to let us know what we're getting. So in order to see a bit more of that, we spin the box around. On one side there is the product specifications, and it also lets us know a little bit about the cooling system, how many fans it can have, the fan controller that takes up to 3 fans. There's some dust filters, and it goes on to let us know about water cooling capabilities. So we can go ahead and make sure this is compatible with the hardware that we want to put inside. Now moving around to the back of the box, and for me this is where things start to get fun. There's a nice picture of it broken down into the individual pieces that make it up, so we can get a bit better idea of what the case will look like. There's also a bit of a description here matching up the number points. Like number 1 is a highly effective dual chamber case layout, which is obviously the inside. That means you can have your motherboard on display on one side, and then on the back side you can have your power supply, maybe your hard drives and all that stuff. The stuff you don't really want to be in view, and it's supposed to help with the thermals and performance and all that type of stuff, so it's always nice to see. It says there's additional space in front to mount a slim optical bay drive and 2 times 2.25 inch drives, so it'll be real fun to get this apart, get it out the box, get it apart, and see some of the features. And lastly, on the last side here, we have what appears to be our hard drive cages and how they're kind of mounted to the top there. So again, it'll be real interesting to get that out and have a closer look. So while no more boring you with the box, I'm going to go ahead and get this bad boy out, and we'll take a closer look at some of those features that we just discussed. Alright, so here we have it, the Fractal Deisgn Node 804 in all its glory. Now as we can see here, there's not a whole lot going on the front. There's some venting across the bottom to of course help with better airflow to make sure we keep everything cool. And then there's a little Fractal Deisgn logo and what I would imagine to maybe be a power or hard disk drive light there to make sure we know everything's going on. Now the front is of course removable, as you can see there. Just kind of, if you lift up from the bottom, it does just kind of snap off, and as you can see, there is one included front fan for the main chamber that'll have our motherboard and motherboard and GPU and all that in it. But there's actually room for 1, 2, 3, 4 fans, and there are 2 separate dust filters, 1 per chamber, so that's quite nice. Just more options. You, of course, depending on the space inside, once you get in what you want to, you could of course put mini radiator, well, I would say 240 mil radiators there as well, to get some water cooling going in. Let's go ahead and, as you can see, that just snaps back on there. Turning around to the side here, and on the main side we of course have a nice window. Let's go ahead and we'll leave that on for now. So nice plastic window so we can see inside. We of course have our thumb screws on the back here. Nothing fancy there. There's a little handle finger hole there for us to get in and make sure we can take that off. Now as we can, well hopefully as you can see here, let's tilt that just a little bit. There's a second fan included in the rear that has the nice white blades on it. The PCI blanking slots at the back here also are white, so it adds just a little bit of contrast to the overall black design of the case, which is quite nice. We can see a nice big cutout where our motherboard will go. That should be the easy installation for CPU coolers and whatnot there. There's another fan somewhere because we can see the 3-pin power cable right here. We have our front I/O panel cables in there, And there's also some room to mount some things on the bottom here. Couple more fans or solid state drives or what have you there. So we'll make sure to take a bit closer look at those in picture form for the full review. Now, noticing something else here is it appears that the top of this bad boy also comes off as well, as a lot of you may know. Now, exactly how that happens, I can't be quite sure, but I would have thought that, there we go, it just kind of slides back, pardon me. And now we also have here, I know it's a bit hard to see, but there's some room for some more fans or radiators, depending on how you want to configure this. There's another 1, 2, 3, 4 slots here, though in the back we can see the white hard disk drive cages, which we're going to go ahead and take a look at here in just a second. Let's go ahead and just pop that front back on. Moving on to the back of the case, we of course can see both of the rear fans. As mentioned, the PCI blanking plates are white to add a little bit of contrast to the case, a bit of color. Well, I mean, it's white, it's not really color, but just something. We of course have our bottom mounted PSU cutout here in the second chamber, which let's go ahead and take this off and have a look at. And as we can see here, that is the second chamber. Now we of course have our little accessories box, which is going to have the screws, zip ties, a little manual or whatnot in it. Our hard drives will be mounted into these cages here, and they'll kind of just be hanging down, which is unique. It's something different, something I personally haven't seen before, so I like it. There's also a couple of Velcro straps down here that I'm not 100% sure of what they're there for at the moment. Maybe to kind of hold down the cables from the power supply or whatnot to keep them out of the way of hard drives. I don't know. We'll take a bit closer look at that in the written review with more pictures and whatnot. That is pretty much it for the Fractal Design Node 804. As you can see, it takes a unique approach, I would say, into the cube 2-bay form factor type case, if you will, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. So we've got the two different chambers here, top mounted hard drives in the second chamber, which is nice. That way they're not on show in the front chamber. That's something I personally like. And as you can see, it comes all, you can take the whole thing apart and customize it, do what you want. This is going to be a great case for modders and enthusiasts alike. It offers a lot of options as stock, but of course once those modders get their hands on it, they're going to have some fun with it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. As mentioned, there's a full review to come, so please check back on player.net for that in the near future. Like, subscribe, comment, feedback as always, and again, thank you for watching.